Hey strong siders, today we're looking at the back squat and why shoulder mobility and thoracic spine mobility are really important to doing it right. When you're setting up for a back squat, you want to have your elbows pointing down towards your hips through the entire range of motion, with the bar sitting comfortably on your traps, on your shoulders, and not on your neck. Having the elbows constantly pulled towards your hips will help you keep your lats engaged, which also help support the lower back. Elbows end up flaring back, there's a good chance that bar is going to roll up onto your neck during the range of motion, and you'll probably disengage your lats, forcing your lower back to stabilize with less muscle. You may also see people set up with the hands really wide on the bar. This is just a way to have the bar on the back because you are lacking shoulder range of motion or thoracic range of motion. If you have excessive kyphosis or upper back flexion, the bar will also roll up, and it'll be really hard for you to keep that bar in the proper position throughout the whole motion. Alright, let's just get another view of these things. So first off, bars on the traps, elbows are pointing down towards the hips, everything looks comfortable, and the elbows flare back as the arms go wide. Generally it's because of a lack of external rotation at the shoulder, maybe your pecs are a little bit too tight. There's also the chance that you have excessive kyphosis, so upper back flexion, which makes it really hard to keep the chest up during the motion, and the bar may roll down onto your neck. Let's look at some corrections next. So if we want to increase thoracic mobility, we can do it on a foam roller by leaning our back over and across it. But we want to be careful that we're not just arching our lower back away from the ground. So if you force your lower back in and you lean over it, you're going to notice that your lower back stays touching the ground without drifting away. You might get a whole global arching, but you won't get a pinch in the lower back like you see here. You want to try to avoid the ribcage flaring, hold it down tight while you mobilize that upper back. Maybe you're going to spend about a minute, 2 minutes before you get onto the bar. You will notice a difference that you can keep your chest up better. Another way is doing the bench T-spine mobilization drill. So this helps you with extension as well. So I'm squeezing that foam roller between my hands. It's a short one. As I drift back with my hips, breathe out everything I have, and I pull my arms back. Not only is this stretching my lats, but it is also trying to keep and force my upper back into a more extended position. When you breathe out really hard in the position, you're going to feel your abs pull in, which will help prevent the lower back from overarching as well. It's also good for stretching the triceps as well. When you're finished opening up the upper back, we can then start getting into the front of that shoulder. So we're going to start stretching out the pecs. What I'm doing here is passovers or dislocates. I'm taking the stick and I'm driving it over my head, pulling it in behind my back, allowing the stretch to happen. That might be too hard with a dowel for some people, so I suggest doing it with a band because you're allowed to pull the band apart as much as you need to clear the shoulders. Pull it apart really wide, skimming your hair if you have to, go narrower when you're able to. Another way you can stretch the pecs is by doing a single arm doorframe stretch. Basically put your arm up against the frame and you're just going to push your body forward while rotating away from it slightly until you feel a stretch. You can try a couple different angles to see where you're tightest. Try to just do one arm at a time, that way you can focus in on it and you're not going to damage the anterior compartment of that shoulder by going too far with both arms. Also make sure the whole forearm stays in contact, don't let the elbow drift away. Next up, we're going to stretch the pec minor. So I'm standing in a corner with my palms down and I'm reaching my hands towards the ground while I lean into the corner. This should feel quite tight on a lot of people, especially people who sit at a desk all day. If you got a partner, you can do a pec minor stretch together where I'm pushing Cam's shoulders back and down, which is the opposite direction that the pec minor generally pulls it. He's got his palms open, rotated up just to get a little bit more stretch through the whole system. Try them both out, find out which one works better for you. In this position, Cam felt less of a stretch, so maybe the wall one's better for him. We're done with stretching open the pecs, but now let's look into an internal rotator of the rotator cuff. This is subscapularis stretch, so my arm is getting pulled into external rotation, but we're stretching the internal rotator of the shoulder. You can use a dowel and just pull it back and forth if you want. You can hold the position. I drift into a couple different angles to find out where I'm tightest, and I'll move into that angle over and over again until it feels opened up. This will allow your external rotators to work better without fighting against the internal rotator. In the meantime, while you're working on your shoulder mobility, there are options for you. Let's try the safety bar, which is the bar you see on my back here. We definitely have it here at the strong side. A lot of other gyms have it as well. Keeps the shoulders in a very safe position, still allow you to back squat. Don't have a safety bar? We can always work with front squats. Here I'm showing the rack position, which if you don't have the mobility in the wrist, elbows, or shoulders, this might be really uncomfortable too. But you can always do the crossover method where your arms are crossed over the bar and the bar is sitting in the joint itself. A little more uncomfortable, but still allows you to get your squats in. And there's also always the option to do deadlifts to keep working the same muscle groups in a slightly different pattern. Keep up the good fight, Strongsiders. See you next week.